School taught you math and grammar, but not how the system was designed to keep you obedient, broke, and burnt out. Ready for 10 truths that school conveniently skipped? Hey, truth seekers, welcome back to the channel. Before we dive into these shocking revelations, don't forget to like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell so you never miss a mind-blowing episode. Now, let's get into it. Truth 1. The lies they told you in history class. History, as we know it, isn't always the whole story. Many of the events we were taught in school were oversimplified, or even worse, whitewashed. For example, the impact of colonization on indigenous cultures often gets glossed over, while other historical figures are portrayed in a more flattering light than they deserve. Certain events, such as the true horrors of slavery or the exploitation of workers during the Industrial Revolution, were often downplayed or omitted entirely. Schools teach us a version of history that aligns with mainstream narratives, but the real story can be far more complex and, at times, uncomfortable. For instance, Christopher Columbus is often hailed as a hero in many school curriculums, but the full truth about his voyages and the violent impacts they had on native populations is less commonly discussed. The same goes for other figures and events throughout history. The selective teaching of history creates a one-sided view that minimizes the significance of marginalized groups. If you want to understand the full picture, you'll need to dig deeper into historical accounts, hear the voices of marginalized groups, and explore different perspectives. History isn't just what happened, it's who gets to tell the story. And in school, that's rarely the full truth. History isn't just what happened, it's who gets to tell the story. Truth 2, the one life skill school completely ignored. Despite the fact that we all have to manage money as adults, most schools never teach us how to balance a budget, invest in the stock market, or handle debt. These are crucial life skills that are barely touched upon in your typical curriculum. You likely learned about the Pythagorean theorem or how to diagram sentences, but what about compound interest, credit scores, and how to avoid financial traps like payday loans? Financial literacy is essential for success in the modern world, and yet it's rarely given the attention it deserves. Instead of learning about taxes, saving, and investing, schools often focus on subjects that may not be as directly applicable to day-to-day life. Learning about how to manage your money, understand investments, and secure a stable financial future could help prevent debt, improve financial well-being, and provide better opportunities in the long run. Studies have shown that many adults struggle with personal finance because they didn't receive formal training in school. It's time we shift the focus to financial education, which is just as important as reading and writing in today's society. If you've ever graduated knowing Shakespeare but not how credit cards work, you're not alone. You graduated knowing Shakespeare but not how credit cards work. Truth 3. You're smarter than school made you feel. From a young age, we're conditioned to believe that IQ tests, standardized exams, and academic performance are the ultimate measure of intelligence. But in reality, intelligence comes in many forms. Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences suggests that we have a range of cognitive abilities, from linguistic intelligence to musical, spatial, and emotional intelligence. Yet, our schools often focus on just one, linguistic and logical mathematical skills, leaving out many other forms of brilliance. What if you're a gifted musician or artist, but you struggle with traditional exams? Does that make you any less intelligent? Absolutely not. Schools often fail to recognize the vast diversity of human talents and intelligence, leading many people to feel inadequate when they're actually brilliant in different ways. This limitation also stifles the potential of students who may not excel in standardized tests but have immense talents in other areas. By limiting how we define intelligence, we do a disservice to the countless students who could contribute greatly to society in non-traditional ways. There's more than one way to be brilliant, and school often misses the best ones. Truth 4. Why school trained you to be a robot, not a thinker. Good real-world contrast. School emphasizes memorization, but it doesn't teach us how to solve real-world problems. Sure, memorizing the periodic table or the dates of major wars might be useful in some scenarios, but in today's world, we need critical thinking, creativity, and problem-solving skills more than ever. We're preparing kids for yesterday's world with facts, not solutions. We live in an increasingly complex, fast-changing world that requires adaptability and innovative thinking. Schools tend to focus on regurgitating facts rather than fostering creative problem-solving. The ability to apply knowledge to real-world scenarios, think outside the box, and find solutions to pressing challenges is far more valuable than memorizing facts for the next exam. Climate change, for example, requires out-of-the-box thinking from young minds, and it's unlikely that schools are doing enough to prepare students to face such monumental global issues. What's missing from our education system is a focus on problem-based learning, developing the ability to solve real-world problems in dynamic ways. Rather than memorizing textbook facts, students should be given opportunities to tackle real challenges, work in teams, and innovate. Problem solving is a critical skill for success in today's job market, and it's a skill that schools should prioritize more. Truth 5. The one kind of intelligence school never taught in life. It's not just about being smart, it's about being understood. And schools don't teach that. While schools focus on academic knowledge, they often fail to address one of the most important factors in life: emotional intelligence, EQ. EQ refers to the ability to identify, understand, and manage your emotions and the emotions of others. Emotional intelligence is crucial for building strong relationships, resolving conflicts, and achieving success in both personal and professional life. Studies have shown that EQ is just as important, if not more, than traditional IQ. Yet, schools rarely teach students how to manage their emotions, communicate effectively, or empathize with others. In a world where social and emotional well-being are paramount, EQ is a skill we should all develop early on. High EQ can lead to better leadership abilities, stronger team dynamics, and greater personal happiness. Unfortunately, this skill is often neglected in favor of more academic pursuits. Teaching students how to deal with emotions, understand social cues, and resolve conflicts would lead to a generation of individuals who are not only intellectually capable, but also emotionally resilient. Truth 6. The education system was designed for the Industrial Revolution. Bell rings. You sit in rows. You follow instructions. Sound familiar? That's because school was literally designed like a factory. The current education system is rooted in the early 20th century, created during the Industrial Revolution to produce workers for factory jobs. The structure of the school day, the way classrooms are arranged, and the strict curriculum are all designed to create workers who can follow orders and perform repetitive tasks. But times have changed. Today, we need critical thinkers, innovators, and entrepreneurs, people who can solve complex problems and drive progress. Yet, the education system hasn't evolved much to reflect these new demands. Creativity, collaboration, and flexibility often take a backseat to standardized testing and rigid curriculums. The traditional factory-style school system was built for a time when students needed to learn how to work in assembly lines. But now, we need systems that foster innovation, creativity, and problem-solving. Unfortunately, The current structure is too rigid to allow these qualities to flourish. If we want to prepare students for the future, we need an education system that values flexibility, imagination, and interdisciplinary learning. Let's rethink the outdated factory model and build a system that equips students with the skills they need for the modern workforce. Truth 7. The truth about success. They never told you. Mention of billionaire dropouts is great. They told you, go to school, get good grades, go to college. But they didn't tell you about the six-figure welders or billionaire dropouts. There are many successful people who never stepped foot on a college campus. Entrepreneurs, artists, musicians, and others have shown that success can be achieved without a formal degree. The school system tends to promote one-size-fits-all thinking, but there are alternative paths to success that can be equally fulfilling. There are countless opportunities in skilled trades, plumbing, electrical work, carpentry, that don't require a college degree but offer well-paying, stable jobs. Schools should emphasize that there are various ways to achieve success, whether it's through entrepreneurship, vocational training, or other unconventional routes. The idea that college is the only legitimate path leads many students to feel pressured and overwhelmed. Schools should teach students that success isn't a one-size-fits-all concept, and that alternative paths are just as valid and valuable. Truth 8. School forgot to teach you how to survive life. Most schools don't focus on teaching essential life skills like cooking, self-care, mental health, or basic life management. Instead, you're expected to figure it out on your own once you leave the classroom. How do you deal with stress? How do you maintain good mental health while juggling life's demands? These are the kinds of skills that are critical to personal success and well-being. But instead of discussing how to care for your body and mind, schools focus on subjects that may not necessarily benefit you in the real world. From cooking healthy meals to practicing mindfulness, self-care is essential for long-term well-being, yet schools rarely offer any formal training on it. Teaching students how to care for themselves physically, mentally, and emotionally is just as important as any academic lesson. Life is demanding, and having the tools to cope, manage stress, and take care of your physical health is crucial. We should be teaching students how to maintain balance and wellness in their lives. What good is algebra if you can't cook, cope, or care for yourself? Truth 9. Success favors the rebels, not the straight-A students. Schools encourage following rules and getting good grades, but real-world success isn't about being a rule follower. In fact, the most successful people often break the rules and challenge the status quo. Innovation comes from those who question existing norms, take risks, and push boundaries. But schools tend to favor conformity, teaching students to follow instructions and conform to a set of standardized measures. If you want to make an impact in the world, sometimes you have to think outside the box and challenge authority, which schools don't always encourage. Name a world changer who colored inside the lines. Exactly. Revolutionary thinkers like Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, and others didn't achieve greatness by following the traditional rules. They broke them. Schools should empower students to think for themselves, take risks, and innovate. When we teach students that breaking the mold is a path to success, we encourage them to become the change makers of tomorrow. Truth 10. Graduation isn't the end. It's the beginning. One of the biggest truths schools don't teach you is that learning doesn't stop after graduation. In fact, real-world learning is a lifelong journey. After high school or college, you'll face new challenges and opportunities that require you to continue learning, adapting, and growing. The ability to self-learn and continue your education outside of formal institutions is what will truly set you apart in the real world. Whether it's learning a new language, mastering a new skill, or pursuing a passion, the journey of growth doesn't end when you get your diploma. In a rapidly changing world, continuous learning is essential. It's not about what you learn in school, it's about how you continue to grow and adapt after school. The best way to stay relevant, successful, and fulfilled is by committing to lifelong learning. The smartest people aren't the ones with straight A's. They're the ones who never stop learning. And that's it. School may hand you a diploma, but the truth? That's something you've got to dig for yourself. So which truth hit hardest for you? Or is there something you think should have been taught in school? Drop it in the comments and share this with a friend who needs a wake-up call. If you want more eye-opening content, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode.